coming up on Mountain News at 11.
Presidential candidate Rand Paul joins a panel discussion in Perry County about the region's struggling coal industry. Laurel County man is behind bars after authorities say he tried to burn down his girlfriend's home.
And I'm Chief Meteorologist Shane Smith. As we head towards the Thanksgiving holiday, the forecast looking nice and dry. We'll break it down in detail coming up. Mountain News at 11 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Tanner Hesterberg. The issue of how to fix Eastern Kentucky's struggling economy in the wake of major losses to the coal industry drew the attention of a presidential candidate today. Republican Rand Paul, who is also Kentucky's junior senator, headlined a panel of people connected to the coal industry as part of a forum today in Hazard. They discussed several familiar topics, but also talked about doing what is necessary to make sure our region survives these tough financial times. A panel of elected officials, business representatives, and other leaders hosted a forum Tuesday at Hazard City Hall. The main topic, Eastern Kentucky's coal industry.
We have to talk about the bad news right now. Eastern Kentucky has been suffering under this president, and this scar tissue economically that we faced, we have to tell that story. But at the same time, we need to remember that we're still mining 35 million tons of coal in Eastern Kentucky.
Blaming coal industry losses on President Obama's new power plant regulations is a common theme, one that is echoed by Senator Rand Paul.
Kentucky's going to push back, but we need to push back in an organized way. We need to take the president to court and say that the regulations that are cutting down the coal industry, cutting down the utility plants, that we are going to resist him.
But resisting the president is not where they want to stop. Tim Embry with Wayne Supply says his company is trying to rely on more than just coal, but they've still had to lay off workers in recent weeks.
Our business has just been decimated. We as a company have diversified some, but here in the mountains of East Kentucky, coal is still our dominant market, and unfortunately we continue to see it decline.
Hoping that decline slows and eventually stops in time to save Eastern Kentucky's economy. If you'd like to hear from others who spoke at today's forum, you can visit our website, WYMT.com. Following the terror attacks in Paris, France, governors around the country have spoken out against President Obama's plan to resettle thousands of Syrian refugees here in the United States. They're worried terrorists could slip in among the refugees. Today, Kentucky Governor-elect Matt Bevin told CBS News more needs to be done to prevent that from happening.
Let's pause. Let's use a measured approach. That's all anybody's saying. If we are delusional to think that there are not evil people trying to do bad things to ourselves, then we're going to do so, be delusional to our own detriment.
Syrian refugees already settled in the U.S. have said they went through years of interviews and background checks before being allowed to come to this country.
Overall, a pretty nice day of weather across Eastern Kentucky, but tonight it's going to be chilly once again, although not quite as cold as last night. We go to Pinpoint Doppler and you can see it is nice and dry. All the sweeps coming back clear. That's because there's a very strong area, a high pressure centered across the plains. And besides just a few fair weather clouds, we're seeing dry conditions. Here's a look at those temperatures. Right now, 36 London, 33 Middlesboro, 40 in Monticello. Still a little warmer up in the ridge tops where the clouds have been a little bit thicker over towards the Big Sandy, 47 Jackson, 45 Paintsville, but those temperatures will drop as those clouds thin out a little bit overnight. We're going to wake up into the upper 20s, some of the ridgetops staying low to mid 30s. Everyone into the 60s tomorrow afternoon. Overall, really, really nice weather, but we're going to see those temperatures drop like a rock tomorrow evening once again. And overall, Tanner, the forecast looking pretty dry through the rest of this week, but as we head towards the long holiday weekend, rain showers return before all is said and done. I'll let you know when here in a few minutes.
All right, Shane, we'll check back in with you later. Thank you. It was a troubling day in Laurel County today as a North Laurel High School student died just before Thanksgiving. Police say 17-year-old Jacob Dale Downey was on his way to school around 8:30 this morning on the Hal Rogers Parkway when something caused him to cross over into the opposite lane of traffic. His pickup and a Pike utility truck hit head-on. The school's principal says Downey's classmates are devastated.
He was just a student who showed up to school every day. He was a great student, well respected by his peers and teachers.
Police say the driver of the utility truck was taken to London Hospital for treatment. Police say at this point they aren't sure what caused the crash, but they do not think speed played a role. Jurors are heading into a holiday break without a verdict in the trial of ex-Massey Energy CEO Don Blankenship. The jury deliberated for a fifth full day in U.S. District Court in Charleston, West Virginia. They won't return until Monday because of Thanksgiving. Blankenship faces charges of violating mine safety laws. He is accused of putting profits ahead of safety in the years before an explosion killed 29 men at the Upper Big Branch mine in 2010. Blankenship's defense team has said the government offered no evidence he was involved in a conspiracy. He says his business has been robbed twice in the last week. Now the owner of Super 7 Motel in Richmond hopes surveillance video will help police make an arrest. Paul Patel tells us he was in a back room today when this person came into the motel lobby and stole money from the front desk. Patel says he saw the suspect on the surveillance camera. When he confronted the perpetrator, Patel says the robber punched him in the face and then ran away.
They need to get a job and try to earn real money instead of doing this to the people.
Patel was not seriously hurt today after the suspect punched him. Anyone with information on the robbery is asked to call the Richmond Police Department. State police have arrested a Madison County woman they say injured two infants she was babysitting. Police charged 34-year-old Bessie Perkins with 2 counts of criminal abuse. State police say they started investigating after the infants' parents took them to a doctor to be treated for injuries they suffered. Police say Perkins injured the babies multiple times while they were in her care. An argument leads to arson. A Laurel County man is locked up tonight after authorities say he tried to burn down his girlfriend's home. WYMT's Caleb Noe has more.
Police went searching early this morning for 22-year-old Daniel Boggs after they got a call saying Boggs had choked and hit his girlfriend before trying to set her home on fire.
The male suspect there had allegedly gotten drunk and gotten mad and tried to burn the trailer down and fled the scene before he arrived.
Authorities tell us it happened at a trailer on Locust Grove Drive, about 7 miles west of London. They say they eventually found him walking on the side of the road, and they tell us he admitted to drinking vodka and starting the fire. Police say they hope it serves as an example for others who may be in a bad relationship or have anger issues.
There's help for female victims, that they're not trapped in those relationships. There's lots of help in the area. And there's anger management classes out there for people that can't control their anger.
We're told a small part of the house was burned, but the Keavy Volunteer Fire Department put it out quickly. In Laurel County, Caleb Noe, WYMT Mountain News.
Boggs is charged with arson, assault, domestic violence, and public intoxication. In Clay County, jail officials say they found strips of Suboxone in several pairs of glasses that were brought into the Clay County Detention Center. Officers say they noticed a lot of their inmates were having issues with their vision, which required reading glasses, but they say those glasses were actually being used to smuggle in narcotics, 1 sliver of Suboxone at a time.
You have to stay one step ahead of them because they're constantly planning on the different ways to get in. This was just really new to us.
The jailer says if any inmates need reading glasses from here on out, they'll have to purchase them from the jail commissary. The Kentucky Public Service Commission today approved the purchase of public gas by Kentucky Frontier Gas. Public Gas has more than 1,700 customers in Breathitt, Jackson, Lawrence, Lee, Magoffin, Morgan, and Wolfe counties. We're told Public Gas customers will see no immediate changes in their rates or terms of service. Officials say the rates and commodity costs for Public Gas will be consolidated the next time the company requests a rate adjustment. They did not say when that would be. Vets serving vets. Today, folks from the Pikeville VFW brought Thanksgiving dinner to residents at the Veterans Transitional Center. A table was filled with Thanksgiving essentials. All the items were purchased through donations to the VFW. The veterans at the center will cook the food Thursday. They say it's a chance to come together as fellow comrades.
Holidays is sometimes a rough time, and it's good to show support and show them that we're with them, we're with them through the holidays.
The Pikeville VFW hopes to return with food at Christmas. They say it's a small way to thank fellow vets and show them they are not forgotten. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, protesters take to the streets after the release of video from an officer-involved shooting in Chicago. The Chicago Police Department has released squad car video that shows one of its own officers shooting a teenager at least 16 times. The video's release comes the same day the officer who fired the shots was charged with murder. Marley Hall has the latest from New York and a warning: you may find some of this video disturbing.
The video from the October 2014 incident shows 17-year-old Laquan McDonald jogging down the street, and then he slows down into a walk. Two officers approach. Prosecutors say Officer Jason Van Dyke started shooting 6 seconds after he got out of his vehicle. The silent video shows Van Dyke continued to shoot McDonald while the teen was on the ground. A few hundred protesters took to the streets shortly after the video was released. Some briefly scuffled with police and were led away in handcuffs.
And I want to try to encourage people to be peaceful, and yet still our protests and what we're mad about.
People have a right to be angry. People have a right to protest. People have a right to free speech, but they do not have a right to commit criminal acts.
Prosecutors say Van Dyke fired 16 shots in 15 seconds, despite accounts that McDonald never threatened him. The 14-year veteran was charged with first-degree murder Tuesday.
People will judge the split-second actions of my client. However, the standard in this case is what was my client experiencing at the time in which he made this split-second decision to fire.
Prosecutors say McDonald was carrying a knife at the time of the shooting and that the drug PCP was in his system. Marley Hall, CBS News.
Police say they were responding to reports of someone breaking into cars and stealing radios the night of the shooting. Today, President Obama and French President Francois Hollande called on Russia to join the international effort against the Islamic State. The two leaders met today in Washington. France has intensified its airstrikes against the Islamic State in Syria following the terror attacks in Paris. President Obama said Russia must change its mission in Syria to focus only on ISIS and not propping up the Syrian president.
Russia right now is a coalition of two: Iran and Russia supporting Assad.
Hollande will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin tomorrow. Later in sports, a battle of cats and dogs in Lexington. The Kentucky Wildcats had a battle tonight with the Terriers of Boston University.
All right, there's a mass hysteria joke waiting to be made here. Anyway, dry weather sticks around with us for the next few days. However, rain will return before the end of your holiday weekend. Complete forecast is next.
Thanksgiving forecast looking really nice.
Thanksgiving forecast looking dry. Temperature's going to be into the 60s. What more can you ask for?
Good day for the old backyard football game, I guess, on Thanksgiving, right?
It's going to be a pretty good day for that. And the Friday not looking too bad either for the Black Friday shoppers. The weekend not so nice. We'll get to that here in a minute. Right now, though, pinpoint Doppler, nice and dry. Going to keep it that way for the next several days. High pressure remains in control of our weather, and that's going to mean dry weather all the way up until the end of the week. 37, your current temperature into London. Somerset, 39, Whitley City, Williamsburg, 36, Middlesboro, 39, Harlan. 40 here in the Hazard. We head on over to Pikeville. Good evening, friends. It's 42 there. 41, West Liberty, Sayersville, Painesville, Prestonsburg. Inez, overall, not too cold out there just yet. Those clouds helping to hold the temperatures up a bit. High pressure remains in control of the weather for the time being. And this thing is a slow mover, friends. We're talking this thing's slower than a semi-truck going up the side of a hill. It's just going to coast along across the eastern half of the U.S. for the next couple of days. And as long as it's in our neighborhood, we're keeping things on the dry side. Our next weather maker taking shape back across the Rockies. A little bit of a cold front getting together, but it doesn't arrive here until Friday night into Saturday. Cool again. Temperatures down in the upper 20s when you wake up, 30s by around 9 o'clock. A cold start to the day, but we're going to be dry. Just a few clouds to contend with, otherwise mostly sunny skies and a pretty mild afternoon with those temperatures into the 60s. Plenty of blue skies as we head home around 5 o'clock as the sun gets ready to set at 5:30. Looking ahead, that high pressure stays with us for several days. But when that cold front arrives Friday night into Saturday, you're going to see the rain move in. Now, I don't think we see anything Thanksgiving Day. I think Black Friday starts off dry. It's not until the evening on Black Friday when those rain chances escalate. In the meantime, temperatures going to be into the 30s and 20s tomorrow morning, near 60 for the high. We go into Thanksgiving. 30s in the morning, a little cooler than what Future View is showing. Future View going mid-60s for highs. I think maybe just a degree or two under that. It's overdoing those temperatures just a smidge. Just don't overdo the turkey when you're cooking it on Thanksgiving. Mid-60s overall, a pretty nice day. The pattern is going to stay warm for a while. But you notice all that cold air building out to the west. That will finally make a run at eastern Kentucky as we go into next week. And with that, we will see increased chances of rain. If you're wanting to look at the extended forecast, how about a winter forecast? Head on over to WYMT.com. The winter forecast posted earlier today. You can find that on the front page of WYMT.com right now. Bottom line with 7-day forecast, soggy for the weekend. 40% chance on Saturday, 60% on Sunday. And we'll keep those rain chances going into early next week, Tanner.
All right, Shane, thanks. Coming up next in sports, going for 3 in a row, the Morehead State Eagles try for 3 straight wins over Marshall as the Thundering Herd visit Johnson Arena.
This is WYMT Mountain Sports, your home for the Kentucky Wildcats and local high school sports.
The number 1 ranked Kentucky Wildcats playing at home for the 4th time in their first 5 games tonight, trying to stay perfect on the season. Kentucky looking to stay perfect, hosting the Boston Terriers. Cats out firing. Jamal Murray driving the lane. Ball is loose, but Skal Labissiere picks it up, slams it home, and he draws the foul. 8-0 run to start the game. Then Murray does what he does best, and that is shoot the rock. A couple of threes puts Kentucky up 6 midway through the first. Later, look at Alex Poythress in the top left calling for the ball. Tyler Ulis throws it up. Poythress throws it down. Cats by 5. Kentucky was in for a battle tonight. The Wildcats led by only 7 at the break, but pull away to win by 20, 82-62. At Morehead State tonight, Sean Woods and the Eagles looking for a 3rd straight win over rival Marshall. Early first half, we go MSU in transition. Xavier Moon pulls up, knocks down the mid-range jumper, 2 of his 9 points. Then it's Corbin Collins going baseline. The sweet assist to Tyquan Bidding for the layup. Eagles by 11 at the break. Second half we go. Morehead State runs away with it. DeJuan Marrero takes it to the rim, the basket, and 1. 10 points, 8 boards. And then the finishing touch. Miguel Descent, the alley-oop to Jared Ravenscraft, the walk-on off the glass. Morehead State very impressive tonight. Now 3-1 on the year, 85-61 over Marshall. Number 17, LMU at home tonight for a big South Atlantic rivalry game. Number 17 team in the nation, LMU hosting Carson Newman, a rematch of last year's postseason conference championship. The bright spot for the Eagles was this guy, Sawyer Williams, had 37 points. Splitters had a tough time shutting him down inside, but that's all right because LMU controlled the outside game. Laquan Choice knocks down one of LMU's 10 three-pointers, and then the icing on top, a little fanciness. Jarrell Simmons to Emmanuel Terry. Lincoln Memorial rolls its rival Carson Newman 98-82 at Tex Turner Arena. Coming up, we continue our round ball preview series in Floyd County, and we preview this week's game of the week, the Class A semifinals between Pikeville and Paintsville. A WYMT Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week rematch. Number 4 and undefeated Paintsville hosting number 7 Pikeville. It's the Class 1A state semifinal. Just a jam-packed season full of thrills for the unbeaten Tigers. They had to go on the road last week to play Paris, but they are back at Memorial Field this week, and head coach Joe Chirico pumped to show off his team one more time.
Just excited. I mean, I'm excited for these kids. I'm excited for the school, the community. They've been, looking for something to materialize in football and have something to be proud of, a product on the field that these kids have done. It has nothing to do with me. It's these kids and how hard they've worked. So I'm excited for that.
As for the Panthers, they haven't played a close game in the playoffs yet, putting up at least 50 in their first 3 games. Head coach Chris McNamee knows his team will have to deal with the multiple weapons Paintsville presents on each side of the football.
Well, I think when you look at Phelps, at Trimble, at Daniel, at Morse, I think all those guys are big play guys for them. And you can't focus on one of them. And defensively the same way. They have a lot of different guys making plays. So it's not about stopping one person. It's about stopping them collectively. And our guys know that this week.
The Allen Central Rebels are next in our round ball preview series. Head coach Brad Short led his team to the 15th region tournament last season for the first time since 2008. Each of the last 3 seasons, the Rebels have improved their win total, and this season they're hoping to not just get to the regional tournament, but get there as a district champion and possibly make some noise.
We learned potentially what we can be, 7 points away from district championship. First time we've made it to region in a while. I feel like we can win the district and we can go far in region.
I mean, every year we've got a lot better. I mean, my freshman year we won 5 games, and every year after that we've just been a lot better.
We went from winning 5 games my freshman year to it's steadily improving. My sophomore year we almost went to region, and then last year obviously we went to region. This year we're looking to win district.
Coming off going to the regional tournament last season, we can build up, hopefully go make district championships and go from there.
I'm ready to play. We got a lot of guys we can put in there, and I think district championship's ours this year, and we're going to go from there.
Well, we definitely have a lot of numbers. We can go deep on our bench this year, definitely. And we all kind of have more of a connection, I think, than most teams around here this year.
This team is very fast, very, very fast, and we lack size, but with our speed we make up for it.
Well, I'm really excited for the season, the games to start and actually play. I think we can make it pretty far if everybody gets 100%.
More Mountain News at 11 right after this.
Harlan County's Golden Voice is moving on again. Jordan Smith advanced to the top 10 on NBC's The Voice tonight. This comes after Smith's emotional performance of the song Who You Are on the show last night. The performance reached the top 10 on the iTunes chart today. Jordan will perform again next week, and I was one of the people who bought it. Shameless plug. Not so shameless plug, but it well worth it, and glad to see him moving on again.
Very glad to see him moving on, and hopefully he'll go all the way.
And you have a nice forecast for us coming up for the next couple of days.
Nice forecast, something to be thankful for as we head towards Thanksgiving. Dry weather through the end of the week. If you're traveling tomorrow, looking dry anywhere from about here out to the Rockies. So all the major travel hubs, the Atlanta, DC, Chicago, should be okay for flying. If you're driving anywhere within about 6 to 10 hours, should be okay.
In case you're planning on going to the Rockies for Thanksgiving.
That's a lot of area. Some people like going out west.
There you go, Shane. Thanks. Thank you for joining us tonight. Colbert's up next. Good night.